That brief you read, it listed all the charges, all the causes of death. The fifth man, the cop they say I killed. How did he die? Reyes! Oh, I mean, I knew almost for a fact that she would be working this case. Both because her and London seem to work every case related to Morgan, but also she is on the art for episode 2, so Reyes! Stabbed through the back with a sword, skewered like a piece of goddamn meat. And you've got the balls to ask us to carry him to a hospital? I don't think that's quite how I phrased the request. I've been paying close attention. Would you like me to play back what you said? Not right now, Sparky. Rhea, she's just doing her job. It's not like she's asking... Oh, save the lecture, grey hair. London, homicide detective first class, duct tape mascara, and oak. Parking lots, ties, and honeydew. Not a fan of the Yogscast. The best at finding new restaurants, commendations, none displayed at his workstation, wardrobe, more expensive than it looks. Interesting. Grey? Oh yeah, there is a grey hair in there. Wow. Was that always there? I don't remember it. Come on, my hair isn't... It's greying, maybe. In case I haven't made it clear, I've never liked you, Morgan. Aw, you're breaking my... She stopped herself because she doesn't want to say heartbreak. That's quite good. I hadn't noticed. But I never took you for a mob lawyer. Whatever my client's associations might be. He's a cop killer. Innocent until proven guilty isn't a phrase I coined myself, detective. Farah. Likes sneakers, volcanoes, and the Paralympics. Dislikes scalpers, hoarders, and anise. Scalpers. Interesting. Favourite TV show, civil engineering documentaries. Shampoo. Dunno, conditioner's more important. Undefeated at volleyball. Well... Also, now that I'm here, I really shouldn't have... Really shouldn't have Emma as my thing, should I? No. Hey, what do you think of my my phone charm? What the fuck? Where did you get that? Found it. I demand that you change that right now. Okay, fine. Fine. There. Oh, yeah, look. The grey dress. Huh. I didn't notice that. Yeah, because this is what somebody pointed out in the comments, that it was probably also her eyes there look quite ominous. But yeah, because this is the only thing we've seen of her coat on but open. And yeah, she is just wearing the plain grey dress underneath. Interesting. Innocent until proven guilty isn't a phrase I coined myself, detective. It's actually somewhat important. Oh, don't worry about that. The proving won't take us long at all. Do you always take pride in rushing your investigations? We've all seen the same intake file by now, yes? Medical records. Sasuke Akari was apprehended at the scene and placed in medical transport. Injuries noted. Blood from various sources across the anterior of the body. Numerous bones in the left hand broken. Slight laceration found on the left hand. Internal bleeding throughout the torso and skull. Bruising and rope burns as if bound. Numerous bruises on the anterior of the body. Others blood across the tops of the feet and pant legs. Largest wound found on the crown of the skull. Additional injuries: bruise to left eye, busted lip, broken nose, boxed left ear, blunt trauma to anterior right side of head. When or where these injuries were sustained is not noted. The important thing there is that the injuries don't make it clear sort of how he got them, so it could be from a fight. My client was in bad shape when he was arrested, but his wounds were treated in a medical transport. Yet somehow, in between arriving at the station and his booking, all his wounds are reopened, and some of them have multiplied. Tell me if you can, great detective, how will we ever solve the mystery of the reappearing fractured skull? Your client was being moved between floors. He struggled, tried to escape. And then he fell down the stairs? Really? Was there a lawnmower waiting at the bottom? Look, we're all adults here. So let's just say it. Your co-workers kicked the shit out of him. Well, what do you want me to do about it? I want you to uphold the law. For some reason, I thought you cared about that. A police badge isn't a time machine. By the time we took custody, he was already... A thing I really like about these two, I mean, apart from their designs, and Reyes is amazing, is they are honest cops. You know, like, so many things like this are just, like, all about corrupt cops. But, or it's like, they're all corrupt, but there's, like, one good one. And maybe it's the case, you know, there is probably corruption in this police department and stuff, but all of the ones we're interacting with are on the up and up. And that's probably because, you know, Morgan isn't. But at the same time, it's still nice. It's still nice to see police who actually want to do the job right. And it's part of why I love these characters. And Reyes is amazing. Sorry, a bit biased. She's right, Tiger. What's done is done. You know you've got a snowball's chance in hell of proving your client was assaulted while in police custody. And you'll never get charges brought against the officers who did it. So try asking for something doable. Don't go giving away all my best tricks. The door-in-the-face tactic is already fragile. I want him to see a doctor. You've got to be shitting me. There's a blooded KW in there with military-grade mods. He's not leaving this building. But we could have a doctor brought here. And give him the chance to take a hostage? He's not the 99-man Reyes. He can't break his cuffs. Don't say 99-man. You don't know what it means. You're too old. The 99-man, or a 99-man, refers to a theoretical state of being in which a human has replaced as much of their body with cybernetic equivalents as possible, becoming 99% machine, while technically still a human. Project Moon. People in that. You get people like that in that. This is interesting. The term first appeared in speculative fiction, but it rose to prominence after the 2072 Paralympics, when middleweight track and field gold medalist Ayed Saffron quoted the story as inspiration after breaking the world record of the time for the 800 meters. So presumably, the Paralympics are open to modded people. Some social media influencers, athletes, or tech evangelists have taken the 99-man as a challenge, modding themselves as much as possible with the explicit goal of approaching what they see as the current limit for transhumanism. I have mixed views on transhumanism. Like, it's interesting conceptually, but, like, I don't like making permanent changes to my body. Like, I was really sort of upset when I had to have a tooth removed because it was rotten and causing me constant physical pain. But I didn't like the idea of having it permanently removed, you know? And there was the bit in episode 1 that still haunts me in a way, where Reyes was like, people always said I had my dad's eyes. I guess now I have one less of them. It's just like, oh, that gets me right here because, you know, Reyes. But, like, yeah, I think I am too sentimentally attached to my own physical being, I guess. I don't know. I love this game. It really makes me think. Oh no, what a terrible name for... The individual who's had the greatest percentage of their body mass replaced with artificial analogues is an anonymous male suffering from a rare and terminal form of bone cancer before signing up to the experimental surgery offered through How Industries' Theseus initiative. Why would you call it that? Because that's a reference to the ship of Theseus, where if you replace all the parts, is it still the same ship? You know, that's the thought experiment. Why would you be like, yeah, we're going to replace all your parts. Are you still the same person? Think about that as you lie in your recovery bed. Amazing. Don't say 99, man. You don't know what it means. You're too old. How about a medic who can't be taken hostage? A medical ad? Sure, great. Let's see if we can't negotiate his premium lower while we're at it. Is that a refusal, Detective Reyes? Oh, I didn't say no, did I? Great. He also needs a protective detail. Lady, I swear to... Counsellor. Protective details are comprised of off-duty cops. I don't think that'll have the outcome you're looking for. No. But if my client is left unattended one more night, he's likely to be declared unfit to stand trial when he shows up to court with his head caved in. An outcome I genuinely believe you're not looking for either. We could keep him here. What, in the interrogation room? Counselling quarter. Table can't be moved, but if you slide the chairs out the way, the floor's not actually that hard. How do you even know that? Given what other lodgings he's had in the last 24 hours, I don't think your client will mind. So if Detective Reyes and Detective London take shifts keeping watch... Now we're keeping watch? It is the Homicide Department's counselling quarter. You think I give a shit what happens to that son of a bitch? You think I wouldn't walk in there myself and... You wouldn't. What? It's not in your nature. What the hell is that supposed to mean? You either have it or you don't. I really, for a brief moment, I thought she was actually going to say something, like, bluntly, unwittingly nice. Something like, you're an honest cop. Trust me, if I had the chance to take a swing at that son of a bitch. Yeah, you already called him that. A piece of shit, a bastard, a killer. But unlike every other cop I walked past to get in here, you've yet to call Sasuke an animal. So what? The hell does that matter? It's the only thing that matters. I've got the outsider's perspective, so I know. Your average human can do anything to anyone, so long as they're not a person. Looking at Serra with that. Whatever. Think what you want, creep. Well, so long as that's your only request, we should be able to... I need to get into the crime scene as soon as possible. You've got to be. What, like tonight? She's not rushing more than anyone else, Sunshine. Everyone up the line has been raring to go on this, now that Sasuke's actually got a lawyer. Well, maybe if that son of a bitch hadn't clammed up all day, we wouldn't... She said it again. Whatever, pick, then, counsellor. You can bully us into guard duty or escort duty, but you can't do both. I need both. You'll have to split up. But I can help with that. Or rather, Serra can. I can? Of course you can. You can go treat Sasuke. Adone, I'm not trained in... Oh, I love this bit. She's pretending she doesn't remember being registered as my medical ad. Yes, I would never forget that unforgettable experience. But I've never done first aid before. Well, watch your tutorial first. Use lots of sanitizer. Just hand her some bandages and she'll get Sasuke looking good as new in no time. Then you can plop her in front of the door and even 20 crooked cops working together couldn't get her to budge. That much is certainly accurate. I have a strong core, so if I focus and lower my center of gravity... Thanks for the sales pitch, but it doesn't mean shit. The crime scene is in the lower wards. If you think after what happened last night that any cop with a pulse would go down there without their partner... It's okay, Sunshine. I'll take her down there. Is everyone else in here huffing Nirvana? London, it's in Blue Blood territory. Blue Blood territory outskirts, really. They lost a whole pod. They'll be swarming the place. You can't go down there without backup. Backup, huh? You know Mac from Contraband? Skinny guy, kind of a perv? Yeah, he's skinny. Look, he's got crime scene analysis sweeps going over that place with a fine-tooth comb right about now. Drones, probes, the works. They'll have eyes on us before we get within 5 minutes of the place. Whatever. Just keep in contact for once. I hope you're being generously compensated, Eve. Selling your soul to the mob. Eve! Evangeline. It'd be a shame if you didn't get at least a good price. Hey, you coming, blinkers? Gotta find where they store all the medkits in this dusty old piece of... Go on. I'll be right behind you, detective. I am really hoping for something, and I have no idea if it's going to be the case, but the fact that we had, like, that section where we focused on, like, Serra talking to Diamani makes me wonder if she's now, like, a co-main character. Because I would love a section where it's Serra and Reyes talking and hanging out. That'd be great. Sorry about that. She's still new to all this, really. Not old like me. She does seem to be on edge, more so than usual. It's her first time losing a fellow officer. I think she's taking it pretty hard. Maybe even personally. Did they know each other? Huh? Oh, yeah, right. You gather all your things. I'll go bring us up a ride. Great. Thanks for all the help, detective. You're a lifesaver. Though this is one occasion where I wouldn't have any trouble finding this place. Yay! Really didn't take you that long to patch him up, huh? Now we just wait here all night. That clock runs pretty slow. If you're not doing anything else, detective, might you be interested in answering some questions? 5:48. Is that it? Is that all we get? That's all we get! Aww, I was really hoping Reyes would just open up to her. I mean, it might have been out of character for Reyes, but still. Once more into the depths. When I went down to the lower wards last night, I knew what I wanted to find, but I wasn't sure where to look. Now I know where to look, but I have multiple priorities to consider. It'd be nice if I can prove Sasuke's innocence. It won't be easy, given that they think he killed a cop. But it'd keep me on the Ikaria's good side. That'd be nice. But what is essential is that I figure out what the hell happened after I left, and whether anyone found any trace that I was ever there. Okay, my theory that I sort of alluded to before, very, very briefly, is I reckon it's that shadow murderer, I can't remember what they called him, that the Blue Bloods warned me about, that, you know, can be anyone and be anywhere. I reckon that there was, like, one officer left in there with Sasuke, and that the shadow murderer used the sword to kill him. And then maybe Sasuke sort of woke up at this point, or woke up somewhat, drew the sword to fight off the shadow murderer, and then got knocked out again, or something like that. Because he has no memory of what happened there, and he does think he remembers gripping his sword, and I reckon it was his self-defense against the shadow murderer. The other possibility, which I don't think is true, the one that was like, of course, is that the cop is actually the shadow murderer in disguise, but I don't think so because it does seem likely that Farah knew him personally, and yeah, I think it would be very odd if it's like, actually no, he is alive somewhere, unless he has been murdered by the shadow murderer. Elsewhere, and then his identity taken. That's the other possibility. But I feel like, again, that would be quite easy to find out. Everything else is secondary. Sorry, I guess I should have asked before I decided we'd be sharing a cab. I don't mind. But I am surprised. Did budget cuts take away your shiny patrol car? Patrol cars are shared, Counselor. Any cop can step into any other cop's car, sync their credentials, and drive. Convenient. Shame you can't personalize. Yeah, no more dice on the mirror. Is that why we're in a cab then? Personal taste? Police cars are full of bugs. Thought you might appreciate the privacy. Auto cabs are full of bugs too. True, but they're auto cabs. Because, like, every time they've had, like, a private conversation and it's like, hey, actually, I took a guy to an incinerator and definitely didn't kill him, and I'm thinking, there's a driver, isn't there? But no, they're autocabs. That's fine. Also, there's a bit of grey in his beard now that I look. True, but there are ways around them. Are there? I didn't know that. Yeah, plenty. Can be easy as flashing a police badge. Oh. Something you wanted to discuss in private, Detective. Oh, is he going to talk about Farah? No, I was asked to get in contact with you and pass along a message. Oh. A secret admirer? And certain interested parties and all that, you know how it is. I'm not sure I do. Does this have anything to do with my client's business affiliations? There would be a lot more blustering if I were to repeat it verbatim, so I'll paraphrase. Focus on getting the best outcome for your client. More of a reminder of what my job description is than a warning. And don't broaden the scope of your investigation any more than strictly necessary. Well, I always appreciate the kind words of advice. But Detective London, that almost makes it sound like you're on the take. That's the city, Tiger. If you don't take a little, they'll bury you. Oh. You know that stuff I was just saying about how, I like how these cops are actually on the up and up. No, it seems it is just Farah. It seems that Farah is like the only good cop because she's new, she doesn't know how it works, and oh no. Alive, if need be. Oh, they will? How conspiratorial. It's not a joke, Morgan. Did they threaten your wife with Tommy guns if you don't comply? Huh. It's got a more sophisticated than that. Well, maybe sophisticated isn't the right word. Complicated might be more accurate, or you could just call it a quagmire. Or even a shitstorm. If you can't get along to go along, even other cops won't trust you. You'll end up shot in the back, friendly fire, stabbed in the neck with a sword, a tragic newspaper clipping. You're exaggerating. You're telling me the entire police force is... Oh, come on, I was just praising this game for not doing this. Corruption would be one thing. You could, in theory, root it out. But above and below the canopy, it's all intertwined. Every tree's stabilizing every other tree. What do they call that? Not parasitism. Commensalism. There you go. The state pays criminal informants to rat on their peers and lets them keep their positions in exchange. Orcas buy judges and politicians to keep their men out of prison. Status quo, balancing act, a cycle. Stable as any gyroscope. Forgive me if I find that hard to believe. Crime is at an all-time low. That's not a contradiction. People hate crime. But what gets people killed is chaos. And the opposite of organised crime is... So everyone's playing nice with each other. Even Detective Reyes? She's too new, she doesn't understand how it works, she's the good cop. She'll learn eventually. She's been resisting the system. She doesn't know anything about me. What about the man they think that my client killed? Did he play nice? He was a special case. You got the brief, you recognise his last name? It's a big city, I don't put much stock into last names. You'll need to break that habit if you continue to work in the underworld. Sasuke says something similar. Tarek Chopin, only son of Miguel and Dominique Chopin. The power couple? Why would the son of two of our city's most prominent council members be working as a police officer? You want the full story? Always. Yeah, Chopin. Is it Chopin? Chopin? So who was this Chopin anyway? An idealist. Wrong line of work then. You're only half right. When he entered the academy, everyone assumed it was a political move, first step in his career to becoming a senator or whatever. Maybe it was, but anyone who met the guy could tell you he would have made a lousy politician. You're saying he was honest. Wouldn't tell a lie if his life depended on it. Guy couldn't do small talk, much less make friends. Talking about cleaning up the city, cleaning up the police, cleaning up everything. If he was so unpopular, why was he kept on? No one on the force wanted to risk insulting his parents by firing him. Just got passed around from department to department, detail to detail. He did a lot of community outreach. Now, I can see why Farrah would be fond of him. Community outreach? What, like bake sales? Like giving talks at schools saying no to drugs until you turn 21. Woof, must have really loved his job to put up with that. Or he just wanted to prove a point that bad. Lower wards? Don't you try and save lower wards patrols for the more seasoned, better armed officers? We do, yeah. How do you know that? By going to the lower wards and looking at the cops you send there, of course. I read about it in Watch magazine last month. Oh. If Chopin was the son of such powerful men, why'd he end up in the lower wards last night? Oh, was it Dominic? Sorry. I don't know. You don't know? By all accounts, he and his partner should have been at least 2 patrols removed from that area. Must have been following up on some other lead. His partner? Who's that? The hero who finally arrested the Hound of Icaria, that's who. Okay. Alright, so this is a case of internal police corruption, and this could be, again, me thinking like the obvious answer to the thing is what they're going to go with, which so far has a 50-50 chance, because I called what's her name was the murderer Helen was the murderer really early, but it kind of sounds like it was his partner that killed him. The hero who finally arrested the Hound of Icaria, that's who. I'll have to send him a congratulatory fruit basket. Huey Rogers, pretty bare bones record, but maybe that'll just add to his legend. What legend? Taking your client alive. Whacked him in the head with his sidearm, knocked him out cold. Guess it is a small miracle that Sasuke wasn't just shot dead if he thought he killed a cop. Maybe, but it wasn't pure luck. Only thing that did stick out to me in Rogers' record was his shooting score. 41. Out of 100, you need 40 to pass. I think someone took pity on him when tallying up his score. So he only whacked Sasuke in the head because he was too bad of a shot to avenge his partner. At least Rogers knew his weaknesses. That feels like he played on his weaknesses. Yeah. The Hound. I keep hearing that name, the Hound of Icaria. I cringe every time. No one actually calls him that, right? Sorry, but I've definitely heard that name circulating around organised crime before. Must be one hell of a bodyguard to have earned a nickname for it. He's a bodyguard? Then yeah, he must be pretty good. Of course, hound dogs are known for other things beside guarding. Sorry, that was, crude. Oh, don't be sorry. Don't even get enough of the joke to be offended. Neither do I. I assumed he meant, like, hunting down people. Okay, that all makes for some interesting food for thought. But, Detective London, if you are working for the Blue Bloods... I never said I worked for the Blue Bloods, it's more of a gig worker type thing, Tiger. I'm friends with everybody. If you are working for the mob in general, then... how do I know you're even taking me to the right place and not to... Huh? Whoa, whoa. I may pass a message along here and there, but I'm not... Damn. Hell, no one else is either. Whatever you're imagining is not that exciting, I promise. This isn't Gotham. I don't know what that means. Not that exciting? Sounds about right. Is it like this in every city? Handshakes and gentlemen's agreements behind closed doors? You disillusioned? The state has a great deal of power, Detective London. It makes countless rules. Now, I'm a big girl. I know that those rules don't apply to everyone equally. And I understand the value of criminal informants and the possible conflicts of interest that arise and try to keep them around. What I don't get is why the state has all this strength, and it won't use it to just wipe the underworld off the map. That's pretty cold logic. I'd expect my state to be far colder. Hey, you ever heard this one? A politician, a CEO, and a mob boss are sitting at a round table with a gun in the middle. Who are you betting on? A politician, a CEO, and a mob boss. I mean, my immediate thought is the mob boss, because he's the one who's most comfortable with, most acclimatized to guns. The CEO would have a reputation for ruthlessness that might even outstrip the mob boss in certain ways, and the politician likely has a reputation for, like, saving their own skin. You know, that's the thing they say about politicians. But I'm gonna have to go with my first thought, even if I feel it plays too much into his hands. I think Morgan would bet more on the politician or the CEO than the mob boss. She hasn't really had any dealings with the mob before this, but she's had dealings with both of these, and she knows how ruthless and pragmatic they can be. So I think she's going to go... I think she's going to go politician. Politicians are limp-wristed when it comes to their jobs, but they act faster than anyone when it comes to protecting their neck, called it. They'd grab for the gun fast and wouldn't stop pulling the trigger till it clicked. Not a bad pick. We'll make a patriot of you yet, Tiger. She looks pleased. But it was a trick question, of course. Rock, paper, scissors has no trump card. The politician can bring the heavy arm of the law down onto the mob boss if he doesn't shoot the CEO for him. The mob boss can have the CEO's family killed if he doesn't blow away the politician first. And the CEO can turbocharge the campaign of whomever the politician's opponent is if he refuses to miss the mob boss. Yeah, it seems like you can make the argument to go in the other direction too. You could. So the point the riddle's meant to teach is this. Whoever convinces someone else to pull the trigger comes out on top. Funny. So in the parable you set up, the gun on the table, that's the police? A blameless tool with no will of its own? Yeah. Though it was older men than I who set it up. Didn't realise this country's police were so powerless. However do you manage? We used to have a partner that helped us out, a tiebreaker. Because all three of those powerful men would be screwed if a journalist told the world they were meeting together. I've got good news for you, Detective. Journalists still exist. I could introduce you to one. You could even take a photograph. No, I know they're not extinct. People will always write. It's just that no one wants to pay them to. Sorry, didn't mean to talk so much. Maybe it's nerves coming back down here. What happened the last time he visited? Something up? Didn't put you to sleep, did I? No. Actually, your 3-seat table reminded me of an even older thought experiment. If God is omnipotent, why does he allow the existence of the devil? Ah! That is, I believe, is it the ontological argument? Oh god, I'm calling on, like, secondary school philosophy, which I loved, by the way. Thoroughly fascinating subject. But it's like, I think it's the ontological, which is, if God cannot be all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-good. You know, there are the three of those. So if he's all-powerful and all-knowing and all-good, there would be no evil in the world. So if he's all-powerful and all-knowing but not all-good, then he would allow the evil. It is literally the same. If he's, or similar, if he's all-knowing and all-good, he's unable to stop the evil. And if he's all-powerful and all-good, he doesn't know the evil exists. So that's how you do those three things. Even I know that one. To preserve free will or whatever, right? Yeah, that's the answer most people give. But now I'm wondering if it isn't a rock, paper, scissors deadlock like you just described. God lets the devil be so he'll terrify man, and man will always need God's warm protection. And God needs man's faith, which can't be compelled. Of course, most people would also say that God's long dead in the 21st century, but we're still around. So that leaves the devil in an awfully strong position, doesn't it? You always picture 3 men in that room, don't you? Huh? Yeah. Guess I do. Sorry. Do 55 feminist rosaries for your penance. 601 in the lower wards. Yep, this is the right place. I mean, it's good to be here for the first time. But yes, I will be leaving it there. I will be back with more of The Devil soon. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you later.